Hi everyone, Madcarver here with Schaaf Tools. Today we're going to continue getting you used to your new chisels, and today we're going to work with an infinity symbol. So with this, we'll learn how to go under and over and make those round edges and pretty much keep your learning moving forward. All right, let's get to it. Okay, so you can see I have a few items here. I have a metal stylus, which is really just a ballpoint metal ball on the end of this stylus, and a pencil, and a few chisels. I have the 1S 8mm skew. I have a number 5 8mm, and those two come from the 12-piece set. And then I have a 3F 6mm. The 3F is a fish tool, and this is used really just for detail points. And if you don't have one, just go ahead and use your skew. I can show you how to do that as well. So at this point, what we would do is we would take this and put it on our wood. Really just going to kind of put it here in the middle somewhere, curve the edges so that it stays in place. And then I will use the metal stylus to go around the entire area and on the inside. And this metal stylus, with just a little pressure, will put an indent in the wood, which I will then go back over with the pencil and outline it in. All right, I go back over it with the pencil. All right, so now I will use the skew to outline the entire thing. Okay, now that we have that done, let's consider what we want to do for the part that overlaps. Okay, so some of these ends are not matched up very well. It's because my initial drawing was so bad, but you guys will do fine. So I'm really just going to take this measurement here and basically move it over to here. More is always better than less, so it's no big deal. So I'm going to move this to here and this one to here. Now we know which one goes underneath, right? This one. Okay, so we have an over and we have under. Then we just need to cut it out. So now we have small cuts, a small stop cut all around the inside and the outside. So we will now use a gouge, the number 5 8mm, to cut all around it and inside too. Let's do that. Okay, those are preliminary cuts, and it just gets the idea going. We'll do a lot more of that. Let's get the inside as well. Got a little cut there. It's okay. We'll work with it. Now, we could cut this line here, but we're not going to until the end. And for that reason, we're just going to continue cutting around the edge. So I will do that again with the skew. And it's really just a matter of going around it all over again. You've seen me move my hands in this direction, or rather hold my tool in this direction. And I often also hold it in this direction. Regardless of the way I hold it, I always use my non-dominant hand to steer at the shank of the tool. It's a good safety precaution. By holding in this direction, I can force a lot of power into the wood. It's a little more difficult for you guys to see, so I try not to do it that often. But when I really want to get in there deeply, it's a great method, right? Now I got to get back in there with the skew to remove debris. And then we'll use our number 5 in here to remove some of its contents. You don't need to go to the full depth. We just want to remove enough of it so that we can work. I'm just taking the gouge and spinning it in my hand to get around that rounded edge there. Creating this project, the infinity symbol, can help you in the future to do projects that are more like a weave. So you could do like a Celtic knot where they divot underneath and go over as well. In this case, we'll be learning how to push this underneath and keep this one on top and make it look seamless. So a lot of those projects in your future will be much easier having learned this one. Now what we're going to do is go ahead and cut those lines in on the center there. We're going to use that with the skew chisel. We're just going to cut straight across. And here too. Okay, so we can tell that we need to go under, and this one has to go under, so we'll just do that. Also with the skew chisel, we have that stop cut we just put in right here, and this one here. So when we cut in there, it'll stop right there. All right, there it is. Now we can continue using the skew chisel to cut into here, but what I'd like to do is make sure that this area right in here is actually deep enough. So definitely we'll use the skew chisel for that. I'm going to use the fishtail gouge that I initially showed you, just because it's got a smaller profile. It's a little easier to get in there and get things out. The fishtail has these flaring edges. They go out to each side, and they're really helpful for getting into these tight areas. Sometimes you just get in there with that little corner, and it's super helpful. Now that we've got that, I'm going to go back to the number 5 gouge, and I'm going to start to round this edge a bit into this area. Again, about half the distance, a little bit more. Needs a bit of a cut here to clean. Now, using a pencil, I'm going to try to just eyeball these areas where it's a little bit larger. Now, and over here as well, it's really small. So we take this outer edge, bring it up a bit. Okay, so now I'm at the point where it's really up to you or me at this point to determine the kind of wave you want to have on the infinity symbol. So it could be left just like this if you like, sand it down or carve it down, get all this pencil marks off around the edges if you like, or you can put even more bend in the entire thing. So I personally consider this to be the highest point on the carving. So if this is the highest point and right below it is the lowest point, then everything else can blend into each other. So I'm going to try to start blending it. So if this is our highest point, we could technically start going down right here somewhere. I just hit a spot that didn't like me cutting in that direction. So as soon as you get to a place like that, either turn the wood around and cut in that direction, or you can choose to go this way. Either way, it doesn't want to be cut in that direction. It's against the grain. So easiest path would be to turn your direction. So there are those that like this really pronounced bend. I'm one of them. I think it looks great like that. But then there are other people that like this more gradual one. And in the end, no one's wrong. No one's right. It's really just a preference. And if you like, you can make 4 or 5 of these and choose a whole bunch of different ways to do it. That's about good. And I'll start from here again and just start going down again. So now, final point that I'm going to make is I think it always looks better if you cut the edges off. So I'm going to do that with the Skew Chisel. Turn the chisel upside down in order to get to these areas and have the chisel line right up to with the side of your infinity symbol in this area. And then inside I'll just use the gouge just to chamfer the edge a bit. maybe the skew here because it's so close. Okay, an infinity symbol. There are a number of different things that you can do at this point. You can sand it down, you can clean this better, you can even take it a lot deeper, you can cut it away from the block entirely. You could add infinity symbols on both sides, and you could even put them underneath this guy. Or you could put an infinity symbol vertically so that you could have a weave of sorts. At this point, it's up to you.